how is everyone? I hope you're all well. So I'm guessing the vast majority of you now know that Jagger Westfall is living with Kylie's mum. And I don't know how that sits with you guys, but it raises some questions with me. And look, we've all got, and I've had opinions on Lindsay, 100%. You know, I do feel strongly with all of the parents who are involved in these kind of cases when I can turn around and say, look, this was preventable. If you had have been a parent more than you were the cool mum or cool dad or friend, you know, these things don't happen. They don't happen. And there was even elements that you could say were just simply lazy or negligent from the parents' perspective, because we know that Kylie had a curfew. She was overstepping the mark on that curfew. She'd called, or and said she was going to be late. And what did mum do? Did mum stay up and make sure that she did indeed get home safe? Bearing in mind she was a 16-year-old girl going to a senior party. She was driving illegally, likely drinking because she had knowledge of Kylie drinking in the past. And look, she weren't the only parent who knew that Kylie, or tried to push the narrative of the drinking, because Magdalene's mum also had stepped forward and said that Kylie was known for drinking and driving. So look, this is a tight-knit community, so I'm guessing that this was known as a potential risk. But mum went to sleep, or she didn't go to sleep, and she just did something else that meant that she didn't realise that Kylie was not back. But there we go. I know that you raise these things and people get bent up out of shape. They get upset that you're pointing out the inadequacies of parenting. And what can I say? Who gives a fuck? If you've got children, be more than adequate. You know, we shouldn't be able to bring up inadequacies. I get that people can make mistakes and errors, but that is a fatal inadequacy. And there was a multitude of issues with this situation that stemmed from home. But anyway, who am I to judge? I'm not a perfect parent, certainly not, by no means. But in certain situations, I wouldn't make those mistakes. Anyway, I digress. And you know me, king of digression. But look, so yeah, Jagger is living with Kylie's mum. And there could be a flip side to this coin. And it could be that maybe Kylie's mum is smarter than a lot of people give her credit for. Maybe she is in the understanding that there could have indeed been foul play, and she does indeed want to get to the bottom of it. And she is hiding behind this facade that she cares, when in fact she is bringing the people close to her to see whether they slip up, to see whether they give away anything. Because make no bones about it, there's names that have cropped up, there's things that we have all seen on this platform that screams foul play, screams hiding things. Now, we heard about the fact that the dive situation, now it would appear that there was some confusion over where Adventures with Purpose could have been searching. Now, it would appear that some of these kids thought that Adventures with Purpose were purely going to be searching in Boca. And I wonder whether, I'm going to do a video later based on law enforcement, so check it out. That's video 2 today. But I wonder whether these kids did not expect AWP to be searching where Kylie was found, the Prosser Reservoir. I don't think that they thought that. And Sammy had turned around and said, when they said that Adventures with Purpose had found Kylie, now Sammy very quickly jumped forward and went, "Oh, they didn't find her. No, they didn't. They haven't found. They didn't. She hasn't been found. They haven't found her." Now, how could she have said that with confidence? And why would that be your immediate reaction? Bearing in mind that, I've said this before, if Kylie ended up in water because she'd gone to a party and got drunk was potentially the thing on everyone's mind. So you then bring a specialist dive team in for search and recovery, and you hear the news that they've found her, and your immediate reaction is, no, they haven't. Unless you knew where Kiely was, and you thought that AWP was somewhere else. And it's things like this. It's all these little things. And look, Lindsay is smack bang in the middle of it. She's at ground zero. So could it be? Could it be that she is a mum who does indeed want to get answers for what happened to her daughter? Is she just playing a very different game in order to get to the answers? Now, Jagger living with them, we've got to think these two kids were together, and what we're sort of led to believe is that Jagger moving away, that 4-hour journey, and look, a lot of people are saying, why does he keep saying 4 hours? Traffic, when you factor traffic into that journey, you're looking at a trip around 4 hours, approximately. But this distance would be the thing that would separate these two lovebirds. But then I ask, but he's now living with mum. So after Kiely has been found deceased, he is now living there. Something just doesn't sit right with me. Something doesn't sit right. This distance that was forced upon them, split them apart, now seems to have gone. He's there. I don't know. I could be reading into it too much, and I'm sure you guys will let me know down below what you think. But yeah, I just feel that there's so many things around these kids that don't sit right. There's a few names that have cropped up in social media and some heavy accusations being made, thrown towards the likes of Kate, Stephen. Some of you wouldn't have heard that name, but there was an accusation thrown. And this was a name that had predominantly come up with Donna Serafina. She had actually reached out to Jagger herself and asked him to question Steve regarding that party. It did turn out that he had in fact been there. Now, Steve was a friend of Jagger's who had actually photographed Kiely. The photographs of Kiely in the black dress, that was Stephen who'd taken them photographs. And Stephen is very, very good friends with Nate. So, there's a circle of friends here who are floating around this situation. Either the ones that are in the middle of it, kind of controlling the narrative, and those out on the peripheral. And, I wonder whether some of these that were out on the peripheral had a lot more to do with it than we've currently heard. And maybe some of the people at Ground Zero are trying to protect them. Now, it would appear that some of these kids, they do indeed have, family in law enforcement. It would appear the likes of Steve and the likes of Nate have law enforcement and fire service parents. And yeah, when you get a tight-knit situation like this, it can lead to some issues. And later on today, we're going to be talking about those issues. So, for now, let me know where you are. Is Lindsay keeping her friends close and her enemies closer? Or is this Jagger trying to get close to Ground Zero and seeing what he can find? Why is he there? Honestly, why is he there? And what's going on? Is he just a kid who's grieving and he's taking the time to spend some time with the family? Which is, again, something that we can't take away from him. Is a possibility. Let me know down below where you are, and I'll catch you all later today.